All right, this is going to be round 2 of the tournament. I'm going to be playing up against Malefic Skill Drain Beat, which main deck's Necro Valley. So already off to a rough start playing this deck, as they are able to activate their Skill Drain, and if they have cards like Dark Bribe or Solemn Judgment, I won't be able to play the game playing against the deck. So hopefully I have a good matchup. Hopefully I draw a good hand or going first, but I actually go second against this. I do draw the MST here, so if I summon the Tour Guide and they activate the Skill Drain, I can just use the MST to hit the skill drain, and hopefully they don't have any sort of like out to the MST. So they're gonna activate the Necro Valley from the deck using the Commandant by searching it, and then he's gonna activate the Necro Valley, I believe. Not entirely sure yet. So then he adds the Necro Valley to his hand, and he's gonna activate it. So hopefully I don't get roll attributed here. He's gonna summon the Barbaros, and then he's gonna set 2 here. So by having so much cards that he set, it's most likely he's gonna have a sort of like a Dark Bribe or Solemn Judgment or a Starlit Road to hit the Heavy Storm. Yeah. So I'm gonna summon the Tour Guide here. I'm gonna activate the effect. He's gonna flip over the Skill Drain. I'm gonna MST the Skill Drain. So he flips over the Solemn Judgment here, and he's gonna pay half his life points after paying the Skill Drain. So he's gonna go down to 3,500 life points. So this feels pretty bad for me because now, if I just had the Heavy Storm, I could just punish him for doing this. So I'm contemplating what I want to do here. I have the option here of activating the Foolish Burial so that I could get a Plague Spreader Zombie, but Plague Spreader Zombie and Tour Guide is not going to get me a level 5 Synchro that can run over Barbaros under Skill Drain. So what I do now is I either activate the Foolish Barrel to send the Dandelion, or I just pass here. So he finds a Malefic Cyber and Dragon here, he special summons it, and now I'm dealing with a lot of damage on the board so quickly. So I'm taking 3,000 in the face, and then 3,000 again with the Barbaros. He's going to set another back row. Pretty scary here if I activate the Dark Hole, because now he could have drawn to a Starlight Road, but it's very unlikely that he would have had it because either he had the Cyber and Dragon in his hand, or he had the Starlight Road in hand, or potential Starlight Road, which doesn't tell me that he might have it, because if he does draw into it, it's very unlikely that he has it. So Dark Hole feels pretty safe here. So if he does attack directly here, the Gores can come down, and I can actually do some damage here. I'm gonna normal summon the Tour Guide to poke for 1,000, so this way I can get him down lower. Um, yeah, by getting him down lower, hopefully I'm able to finish off the game. So activate the Foolish here. I'm going to send the Dandelion to the graveyard, see if he activates any sort of like Torrential whatever. Because I want him to Torrential here, because if he doesn't Torrential here, then I could just normal summon the Gores and then beat over the rest of his life points. This deck does have a problem seeing monsters, because they play a low monster count so that they can see their spells and traps, most likely. So hopefully he doesn't draw into a Torrential here. He sets a back row here, and so I have the option here to attack directly with Tour Guide and get him down to 1,500. But I risk giving him another turn to get a beat stick on the board, because if he draws a Barbaros, then it's pretty much over for me, because Gores can't run over Barbaros, and if Gores comes out under Skill Drain, I don't get a token. So that's just a ruling thing here too as well. So I'm pretty much at odds here. So where I have to force myself to basically tribute for the Gores here. Lucky for him, he does draw the Torrential here, and then he deals with my whole board. So a series of good cards for him, on top of the fact that he did draw pretty well in the opening hand, pretty much having the Solemn Judgment to negate my MST, and then following all of this up with the Torrential when I try to go for game here. So if he had the warning on the Gores here, let's say the Torrential was a warning instead, he would have gotten down to 500 life points, and my Tour Guide can secure the win here. So yeah. He finally finds a monster, and it was the Commandant. I said the Bulb here. The Monster Reborn is pretty much dead in my hand. The Veiler is not really doing much here as well. I decided to keep the Veiler and the Bulb in the graveyard because with the Bulb in the graveyard, if I find a level 4 if I find a level 4 non-tuner monster, I can Segro summon and beat over this Commandant with Catastor. Lucky for him, he did find a monster that was over 2,000 attack, so I could set the Debris Dragon, but it doesn't feel pretty safe. It doesn't feel safe to me. With only 2,000 light points, he could theoretically summon another monster, beat over my face down, and then attack directly. So what I do here is I activate the Globe Bulb effect to wall off against the 2 monsters that he might summon. Feels pretty bad, but at least I'll be able to survive a turn so that I can find a monster. I mill a Torrential off the Globe Bulb. Not a good card to top deck into anyways, unless, of course, that he draws into another monster that he can summon. But it was RNG anyways. I'm gonna set the debris here, so let's see what he summons on the next turn here. If he summons another monster, then I'm pretty much toast. I noticed that he is setting more back row, which kind of telegraphs to me that he might have like a way to stop Heavy Storm. So even if I did draw Heavy Storm, it wouldn't matter too much. So he beats over the Debris Dragon. All I had to do is draw a non-tuner to Synchro Summon with his Glow Bulb. He's gonna roll a Tribute, and then he's gonna hit the effect veiler out of my hand. He reveals a Gadgetron Dragon, and he discards it. I draw a BLS. I do have the Dark and Light in the graveyard, but I don't have a way to special summon him because Necro Valley is a card. So he's gonna Duality here, and he's gonna see 3 more spells cards. So low monster count, as I said before. And so if he didn't see the Commandant, I would have been able to poke him to death with the Debris Dragon. So the Terraforming is gonna see either another Necro Valley or a Gear Town. So he's gonna go for the Gear Town here, add it to his hand. He's gonna add it to his hand. Summon the Commandant here and attack with my Glow Bulb. I draw into a Mirror Force, which is pretty good. If he does have like an MST face down, then I want to make sure that I try to mass my Mirror Force here. So I set 2 here. So there wasn't an MST set. So now if he declares an attack, I can Mirror Force the Commandant and protect my life point. He doesn't have a Dark Bribe for game, so this makes it so that I can assume that it's not a Dark Bribe or a Starlight Road, or it could be a Starlight Road that he has set. So there's no reason why he would just yeah. If he did have a Starlight Road though, he definitely should have summoned the Barbaros and then attack for a game. But Barbaros has 3,000 attack. So yeah, that was a misplay on his part, I would say, if he did have the Starlight Road. But maybe he doesn't have the Starlight Road, and he's just been setting with no consequences. So we're going to go to game 2. I did lose game 1, unfortunately, to a series of good top decks. So, I mean, that's good for you. What can you really do? So I'm going to side deck in one of the Black Horn of Heaven for sure. The Forbidden Land sounds really good because I can target the Barbaros, and he's going to be unaffected by the skill drain. So Barbaros would be at 1,100 life points when he flips it on attack declaration. Snowman Eater is really good here too as well, because the deck plays a low monster count usually. If they attack into the Snowman Eater and they lose their big monster, then they really can't. They have to like draw into another monster to do something. So I contemplate siding out the Destiny Hero Plasma. Taking out the Plasma is really good because that means that the Plasma can't be affected by skill drain because it's not in my deck anymore. So I pretty much side out the Dark Arm as well because of Necro Valley. Although I can special summon the Dark Arm, I don't like the fact that Dark Arm has to kill the Necro Valley in order to use his effect. I probably should take out the Monster Reborn too, but I am going first. So in the event that I am able to open up with Lone Fire and Monster Reborn, I feel I pretty much have combo. So I keep it in even though it feels pretty bad against Necro Valley. And then, of course, the Forbidden Lance also has another application as well. Is if in the damage step, my Snowman Eater gets flipped face up, and there's a skill drain face up on the field, I can just lance the Snowman Eater, and then it'll resolve the effect because it's unaffected by the skill drain. So that feels pretty good here. And then, of course, I'm going to keep all the 1-for-1 traps. I'm not sure why I took out the Torrential. Torrential should definitely stay in the deck because it can dodge skill drain when I summon a monster. So I have a hard time siding out. I think the best choice here for me would be to side out the Mind Control, as the Mind Control doesn't really do anything in this matchup. I could take a Thunder King Ryo and Synchro Summon with it, but he does have other monsters that really don't get affected by Mind Control, such as Barbaros and Cyber End Dragon. The Cyber End Dragon and the Barbaros are all level 8 or higher monsters, and so a tuner wouldn't really help me get the monster off the board. And since I can't tribute it, it feels pretty bad. So I think I opted to take out the Mind Control for that reason. So game 2 is going to start now. I'm going to draw a hand of Snowman Eater and 5 other spells and trap. So I'm going to do a T set here, and hopefully I'm able to hit something with the MST here. He's going to MST the MST. I think here I should have set the Lure Darkness because the MST would have baited out the MST games 2 and 3. So I have the option here to set MST again. I don't want to set too much into a Heavy Storm, even though the Solemn Judgment can theoretically protect it. I want to use my Solemn Judgment on a monster as opposed to as opposed to a heavy storm. So he's gonna duality here, so revealing a safe zone, Necro Valley, and Gear Town. I contemplate whether I want to MST his face down. I'm guessing the face down card is a Gear Town because he didn't get it off of the duality. He got the safe zone instead. So what I'm gonna do is at the end phase, I'm gonna MST the Gear Town, and since he's under duality, it won't trigger the special summon. So he's gonna try to activate Resolve, but I told him that he can't do it. I do have the 1-for-1 player, so if I can 1-for-1 into an Ancient Fairy Dragon, then all his field spells become a target of my destruction. So I'm gonna do that. He's eerily not summoning any monsters, or setting any monsters as well. So it kind of tells me that he is trying to do a heavy storm play. So I make the decision to make the Ancient Fairy Dragon attack directly. Even if he does have a Gores here, I do have a Mirror Force with a Solemn Judgment to back it up. And at worst case scenario, I can use the Glow Bulb to pretty much. I can go into a level 8 Synchro, go into Scrap Dragon to deal with the Gores. But I'm going to go for damage here. This puts him on a sort of a clock of 18 and 21. And even if he does drop Gores down here, I do have the Mirror Force. I'm going to set off 3 back row. And hopefully he doesn't have the Heavy Storm and he was just trying to like play coy the entire time. He's going to blind MST here, hit the Mirror Force, which is a really good top deck or a really good choice for him. I mean, a really good shot for him because if he had hit the Allure, it would have been a dud. And if he hit Solemn, it would have been whatever. So he's going to summon the Barbros, attack him from my Armory Arm. I do have the Solemn Judgment for his skill drain. So in case this is a skill drain, it won't do much. I'm going to attack over the Barbros, so it was nothing. And I'm going to set a back row and pass. So I don't know what I set, drew for turn that I set. But the 2100 attack should clear him over the course of 2 turns. He's going to set a monster. I'm going to summon the Lone Fire here, activate the effect of Lone Fire, and go into a Dandelion, I believe. Or Spore. Yeah, I guess I can go to Spore too. If I go into Spore, I could Sacred Summon into the level 8 Synchro. Use the Scrap Dragon effect to pop the monster, but it doesn't feel good. So I run over Thunder King Ryle here, and so I have a Spore in defense mode. I could have gotten a Dandelion, but I don't feel like Dandelion is really good here because it really doesn't do anything for me. He's going to send another back row. I'm going to attack him for 21. So one of the weaknesses of this particular build of Malefic Cyberend is that they often draw their protection spells and traps, such as Starlit Road and Dark Bribe. And all those cards don't really do anything to monster swings. They have to kind of rely on their monsters to run over other monsters using that in tandem with Skill Drain. So I take advantage of the fact that I could just swing pretty carelessly without worrying about his back row. And in some situations, I probably should have switched the Spore to attack mode. And then if I swing with Spore and Ancient Fairy Dragon, I can get him down below 1,000 life points so he can't really use the Skill Drain if he does draw into it. And the Skill Drain really makes it difficult to run over his monsters because they're 3,000, and also all my my monster effects are negated. So definitely should have swung with the Spore as well, even though he might have a Mirror Force. All right, game 3 is going to start now. I'm going to think about what I want to side deck, but I think I keep everything in going in to the next game. Look at my side deck here. I do have an Allure Darkness that I set it out. I think I set it out the Allure because I wanted to have the monsters in my hand rather than to banish them. And then since I think I side out Dark Monsters as well. So I draw a pretty interesting hand here. I think it's decent if I had gone first. But the thing is, that deck plays Thunder King Ryo. So it automatically shuts off my Rhoda. But even if he does have the Thunder King Ryo, I do have a Mirror Force to deal with it. So not too much afraid of it. So here I'm going to shuffle his deck. He's going to set a Gear Town, I believe, or Necro Valley. Most likely Gear Town. He's going to summon the Thunder King Ryo here and set a back row. So I did draw to a monster, but it is BLS, and I don't have any setup for it. So unfortunately, the Rhoda here is not going to be able to do much. I contemplate whether I want to set more back row or not, because he does have 2 sets. And so let's see what happens here. Most likely, I'm going to activate the Closed Forest to trigger the Gear Town. And this is going to hopefully make it so that he can't activate any field spell under the Closed Forest. And by having an active field spell, it destroys the one that's currently set. So he asked whether if he MSTs it on the chain, or if he Solemn Judgments it, that his field spell would be destroyed. It does not get destroyed. So he Solemn Judgment here. So it feels pretty bad for me to actually set more than 1 back row here, because if that's the Gear Town, he could theoretically use Heavy Storm to destroy the Gear Town. and then get the Gadgetron Dragon, and then he can pretty much attack me for what 4,900. So I pretty much make the guess to set all three of them because there's no way to play around Heavy Storm or one MST. If I set one, he MSTs, and if I set more than two, he Heavy Storm. So I pretty much gamble that he doesn't have the Heavy Storm because Heavy Storm's at one, whereas in other formats it's not. So he dualities again, and he sees a Safe Zone, Barbaros, and Dark Bribe. My guess is he chooses a Safe Zone, if I remember correctly, and hopefully he doesn't have another Third King Ryo. Because I want to be able to activate the reinforcements of the army here to summon my Stratos and then search for my Malicious. So unlucky for me, he does see another Third King Ryo, even after seeing it off the duality. So this is his third Third King Ryo that he was able to see, or his second. He was just lucky. So I set another back row here. So if he declares an attack with Thunder King, he has to play around the Mirror Force since he saw it, but he does not fear it, so he attacks for 1900. So still struggling to deal with the Thunder King Ryo here. And I'm just going to set Spore and pass. Pretty bad so far for me. And unlucky as well because he saw the second Thunder King Ryo. So here he could summon another monster. And then since he already logically deduced that I didn't have the Mirror Force, it feels pretty bad to summon another monster and walk into it. Or a Torrential, sorry. So I still have to find a way to deal with the Thunder King. I draw into a Scapegoat, which is a really good top deck for me. So if I activate the Scapegoat, I can at least clear out. I can make a Synchro monster with a tuner, but I had to find a way to get a tuner on the board too. So I did give up my Spore, unfortunately. So I had to find another tuner. So he's gonna set another monster, another field spell to destroy his Gear Town. He's gonna bring out the Gadgetron Dragon, and then this is gonna put a lot of damage on board. I think I choose to go for the Scapegoat play. So when he enters battle phase, I can activate it, and I'll be left with two Scapegoats. So this way I can block out all the damage. And he doesn't activate he doesn't activate a Dark Bribe, or he doesn't activate like ways to deal with the Scapegoat token. So kind of makes me feel hopeful that he doesn't have Solemn Warning set. So he's gonna activate he's gonna activate the Necro Valley here. I'm going to draw into another monster. I believe it was a Plague. Yeah. So the Plague here can Synchro Summon into an Armory Arm here. And then I can use the Armory Arm to run over the Thunder King Ryo with the Lance. So I think that's what I do. And I also have a Dark and Light if this Armory Arm doesn't go through. But again, I have to deal with the Necro Valley, and it feels pretty bad to deal with it. So let's see what happens here. I think I declare an attack on the... Yeah, so damage step, I'm going to activate the Lance to make him smaller. And then with the Sigh of Relief, I think I automatically shotgun the reinforcements of the army in the main phase 2. But this ends up being ends up costing me the game because what happens is next turn he activates Royal Tribute and he discards both my Stratos and my my BLS out of my hand. So this actually costed me the game, unfortunately for me. Another play I could have done was top deck Stratos to protect my Stratos and go into the Plague Spreader zombie. And then Synchro Summon into a level 6 Synchro like Bryanak, and then discard the BLS. But I think I wanted to wait one more turn so that I could, well, there was no other turn. So he sees the Cyberend Dragon, I Black Horn of Heaven here. Still no way to negate the Black Horn of Heaven. So it kind of telegraphs to me that those set cards aren't Heavy Storm bait, I guess. So he sees the Necro Valley number 2. So I automatically don't want to destroy the Necro Valley on his turn because I won't be able to do much with it. So battle phase, he can definitely run over my monster. This Royal Tribute really hurts me because now I lost all my my comeback cards essentially. So definitely should have kept the Rhoda in my hand so that I can do some plays, or can at least made a Bryanak to bounce back his Gadgetron Dragon. So he's gonna attack for 3,000. So I basically have the top deck out of this situation. With my 1-for-1 and my Solemn Judgment, I can't deal with the Gadgetron Dragon. So he wins the game here. Again, a lot of different cards that were able to deal with my cards pretty well. The second Thunder King pretty much shut down the game for me, and I was unable to play the game with the one Rhoda in my hand. So If I had just been able to go first, I would have activate the Rhoda, and then search for the Stratos, and then Stratos search for the Malicious or anything that can deal with the situation better. But unfortunately, I wasn't able to win this game. So we're gonna go into round 3, playing off against a different deck.